Hello and welcome. In this part we will be going over the drone movement script and what these fields here represent and how to customize it. So since this is an FPV drone, I'm gonna switch to first person and I'm gonna show you the basic uh, profiles which we have here: advanced, intermediate, beginner. We can change those in runtime, so let's hit play. Uh, For everybody to know, I'm using the joystick from the PlayStation 3. So as you can see, our text here says intermediate. As you can see, I can switch it to beginner, advanced, intermediate, beginner, anything I want. I can also switch keyboard joystick. I'm gonna stick with the joystick and let's go to the beginner first. When I press throttle, you can see that the joystick the joystick throttle and motor throttle are increasing the same. There's no difference how much throttle I put, it's always gonna be the same. And as you can see in the right of the middle of the screen, you have the speed, which is kilometers per hour. So the max on the beginner mode is I don't know, about 60, 64, 60, 70. Yeah, depending on how you fly it. Let's go ahead and I'll show you the intermediate mode. As you can see, it's a little bit snappier. Still, it can go a bit faster, not too much, but yeah, it does some better speed. I'll mute the audio. And if we go into the advanced, you will notice that it is far of the fastest, which is easily seen, and it's a lot harder to control. So, yep. Okay, let's go outside. So how do you control these? So we'll go over the center of mass. Let's reset this to 0 back again. I'll just play with the intermediate for now. Let's go ahead and clear this. It looks ugly. Okay, so how to define the max speed of your FPV racing drones. So I want my max limit speed, let's say on this mode, to be, let's say 50. So we have a minimum drag slider and a maximum drag slider. So what do these do? Depending on the current speed, we're going to calculate on this reading, we're going to calculate the percentage of the max speed we reached, and we're going to change our rigid body drag depending on speed we're moving. So if we're moving faster and faster every frame, we want to increase our drone. Let me show you. We want to increase our drone drag. As you can see, the faster we go, the more it gets, and if I stop, it's gonna go about to 0. So how do you wanna, it's not gonna magically stop increasing at 50, you have to manually change that. So let's say I want my maximum drag value to be around 1, actually 1.5 is okay. Here we can define how fast do we want our drone to slow down. So you have to play with this, maybe find the perfect value. It's never gonna be perfect, but it's gonna be definitely closer to realistic. So now, if you look at the axis on the X and Y, you can see we have 0, 0 and 1, 1 coordinates. So if we are driving our drone, remember it calculates the percentage of our speed current from the maximum we set in the max speed. So if we are, let's say, I don't know, 15 kilometers per hour would be like 30% of our maximum speed. We will have a drag value of 0.5 from the maximum drag value. So this means we're gonna be slowing down much sooner when we get faster. So as you can see, we're still hitting above the 70 kilometers per hour. So this means that something is not right with the maximum drag value. So let's go ahead and pump those numbers a bit up, something like that. And let's go ahead and see now. If I hold the throttle down, oh, that's still not enough. We basically want this value to be, when we are going as fast as we can, we want to match it with our wanted maximum speed. So as you can see, now that our wanted speed is about 50, that is fairly okay, that's what we wanted. And that's how you get it. You will have to play with this a little bit to maybe understand it better, but this is the basics of it. Okay, now let's go with the feature speeds in this one. So the throttle y-axis will always be the one axis you set up in your joystick for the upward motion. So for me, the right analog y-axis is the throttle. It's gonna make my drone go up. So if let's say I did this. Oh, not that. Something like that. Doesn't really matter for now. Go into our play mode. Mute the audio. Watch the motor and joystick throttle. I'm gonna push it slightly up. You see how it applies torque and momentum to the motor throttle. That's not the perfect value, but still it just shows you how you can maybe smoothen it out. If you're a better driver, you have more sensitivity in your fingers, you can maybe lower it a bit. So when you press forward, it's gonna, oh, I did it on the wrong axis. On the wrong, variable here. So now when I press, you see it takes much more input to get the drone moving. But this is for the, I think this is for the more advanced users. Yeah. Okay, that's for that. And now to these parts. Max throttle force, this is basically the force that drives our drone in its own y-axis. Max pitch force is the one that is that moves our drone in the up. It rotates the drone on the z-axis. I don't know how to. It's called pitching in the drone world. So when you pitch, it means you want to go forward. So you tilt your drone forward, and that's how fast you want it to pitch. So if I were to increase pitching, let's say 10, something dramatic. Now if I hit forward, you can see this is really fast. If I do it here, you can see that the roll as well is now much faster, and this is maybe how real drone racers have it. If you ever flew a drone race simulator, DRL on Steam. So that's it for the rotation forces. So here we have an angle lock. This is basically still in development, but you maybe want to use it. It's very hard to flip when you're new at flying. So let's enable this and say 40. So if I pitch, you can see that it doesn't allow me to go over 40. As you can see on this gimbal here, our pitch rotation is currently 40, and on the negative it's also 360 minus 320, that's 40. So yeah, you maybe want to use this when you begin flying at first, but later I have to say it's very fun to fly them in the free mode. Once you learn how, of course. Okay, so this was it for the velocity and feature speeds. Next thing we're gonna go is drone and custom input, but that will be in another video, so this one doesn't take too much.